Welcome to Mor-In The Know podcast. I'm your host, Josh Morin, co-founder and vice president of Field Supplements, as well as sobriety, woke, business, and wellness coach. Mor-In The Know delivers an array of content based on marketing, health and fitness, personal branding, addiction, and often goes down the rabbit hole of politics, conspiracy, and the truth. If you seek to better understand the inner workings of human performance, consciousness, business, and humanity, you've come to the right place. Thank you for tuning in and tagging along. Let's get today's podcast started. What's up, everyone? It's Monday, my favorite day of the week, baby. It's a beautiful Monday here in Arizona. It's been like 100 degrees the last couple of weeks. My roommate broke the cardinal rule, and he started talking about the weather. And the weather was about 80 degrees. And then all of a sudden, you start talking about the weather, and guess what happens? The weather responds exactly. It was listening, man. That's the first rule of the mountains, is you don't talk about the weather. Because what you don't want will come. But I guess 100 days are here, baby. 100-degree days are here, baby. And that's how we're going to kick off episode 6 of 30. We're on episode number 14 now of Mor-In The Know. We're really cranking these out, baby. Really cranking these out, and I'm grateful for everybody tuning in. And today we're going to talk about love. I better get a drink of coffee for that. Let's talk about love, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about love. Pretty sure they use the word sex in that, or that song's about sex, but I think love works better. And pardon my singing, but I'm just feeling it today on this Monday. So let's talk about love. I guess I could talk for hours and hours about love, and there's so many different aspects of love in general. But I'm really going to kind of dial it down to a few things. And I truly believe that us as human beings, at our very core, when everything else is removed, at our very core, I believe love is really what we desire most and what we are wanting to have in our life most. Connectivity. You could look at it as connectivity. Love is unconditional. There's so many different aspects of love, but love as a whole, I truly believe that that's what we all are seeking in our lives, is to feel connected, to feel loved, to be loved, and to love. Money makes the world go round, or love makes the world go round. Money pays for the trip. And recently, I've started to really begin to understand a few things about love. And I'm not about to tell you some crazy love romance story, but more or less talk about what I've been witnessing and seeing within people. I'm going to share a story from the other day. I was over at a friend's house. I got invited to a friend's of a friend's, but one of my best friends was at this apartment before I had got there. And when I had arrived to this apartment, he had his girlfriend and his girlfriend's friends, and their husbands were there. And then he had introduced me to this man named Ramon. And this man was a Cuban man. A very nice man. Seemed to have no harmful intentions. Just definitely was excited to be part of something. And I was wondering why this man was here. And my friend Trevor said, well, when we went to the pool, they got kicked out of the pool because people were fucking calling the police because they were at the pool. And Trevor wanted to include this man in what they were doing. The man was by himself at the pool. And he said, you know what? You should come hang out with us. As would any kind-hearted, selfless human being. To be able to go over to a stranger, start a conversation with them, and say, hey, I see that you're here by yourself, man. You should come kick it with us. That tells you a lot about my friend, first and foremost, and we'll get into that. And I arrive. I meet this man. He seems that he's very, very harmless. And we have some good conversation. Over some time, he started to get a little intoxicated. He started to get a little, no, I wouldn't even say weird. He really wasn't doing anything weird. He was just drunk. The man was just drunk, but he was having a good time. He was conversing with Trevor and I, and he was talking to us, and there was some beautiful women at this place. I won't say where they're from or what they were doing, but there were some gorgeous women here. And he wasn't being creepy or weird or anything like that. And long story short, the girls and one of the husbands devised a plan essentially to get this guy out of their house without asking this guy to leave. And my friend Trevor walked this man over to his house and inside his house. I stayed back into the apartment, and while he walked over to, and walked this man into his house, his girlfriend and all of her friends were freaking out. They're freaking out because they thought this man was such a creeper and such a weirdo, and that he was going to do something to Trevor and this and that and all these things. And I sat back and I go, I bet I can almost guarantee this man is sitting there with Trevor having a conversation. Trevor's chalking it up with this guy. And guess what? Trevor comes back. Everything's fine. They were freaking out because they thought this guy was going to slice Trevor up into pieces and feed him to the dogs. But guess what? Trevor came back. And Trevor didn't understand what everybody was freaking out about, and neither did I. But I told Trevor that they were freaking out about them, thinking that this man was going to do something to him. First and foremost, we can read signs. We're not dummies. I'm not a dummy. My friends aren't dummies. Now, if a man was harmful, you could read it. Plus, we're grown men here. If a grown man can't bring another man over to his house that's intoxicated and defend himself, especially being a Division I athlete, man, we didn't do our job for 20 years. But the moral of the story is this, is that man was by himself at the pool, and Trevor invited this man in. So there's two things here. Trevor invited this man in to be part of the group, and this guy was loving it. He was absolutely loving it. And you could just tell by his energy that he hadn't been around a group of people that were like that. And you could see the light in his eyes. So the first key aspect of it is that, man, this guy has been lonely. This guy was just wanting some friends. And guess what? The selflessness and the kindness and the love in Trevor's heart to go over there, not because he wanted to make a scene or to look good for anybody else, just because he simply wanted to include somebody because he saw them by themselves and said, hey, why don't you join us? We're over here, we're partying, we're having fun, we're having a great time. Come over here and join us, man. There's room for you. This man comes over, he has a great time. And that's that's the two sides of love. I think the wantingness to be loved is number one, and the willingness to be loved is number two. But you can't give what you do not have. And I truly believe the reason why Trevor was able to give so much love, and I see this man, and I want to give him a shout out. He was on the show. I see this man doing this all the time, just with anybody, and strangers, people. He always accepts people for who they are, and really has this selflessness. And because when you let go of race and religion, skin color, when you let go of socioeconomic status, at our very core, we're all the same. If you were to take each person from each race, religion, sector, and put us in the wilderness and made us freeze and survive, all of a sudden, all this socioeconomic status, our color of our skin, our culture, our religion, all of that would get erased. We'd find a way, hopefully, I would hope, to come together as one. And I truly think that the message behind this is that is what life is about. Love. Connectivity. Not this romantic, ooh-ah type of love. I believe it's this connectivity of love, this unconditional love that crosses all platforms. Where you can begin to accept one another, accept your neighbor, and love thy neighbor as you love yourself. This man was lonely, and he wanted just to be loved. He just wanted to be cared about. He just wanted to be part of something. And that's what I really think that life's about. Is, first and foremost, you can't give what you do not have. So learning to love yourself, you have to know yourself to love yourself. and love yourself before you can love somebody else. Shout out to Sammy Listo for those awesome lyrics in his new song that's going to be arriving here very soon. You got to know yourself before you love yourself. You got to love yourself before you can love somebody else. And that's the message in life, is when we begin to understand and begin to love who we are as people at our very core, we can then spread that. But if you don't have that inside of you, if you don't love yourself, if you're not self-aware of who you are, who you're becoming, what your purpose is, what you stand for, then guess what? It's really hard to love. But most of us aren't willing to dive within ourselves. And that's what is missing, is the discovery of the love that we have within ourselves, this discovery of that in which who we already are. I don't believe you find your purpose. I don't believe you find these things. You discover them because they're already inside of you. And once you can discover that love, that self-love, and it's not even like I love myself because I'm so great. It's the state of being where you resonate on. It's this vibrational plane and this vibrational disc that you resonate on of love. And when you resonate on this love, guess what happens? It comes freely back into your life. And I feel at our very core, that's what we all desire as humans. If you want to say it or you don't, that's what we desire, is connectivity and love. When you feel connected, when you feel loved, and when you are able to give love in abundance and let it flow to you, receive it and give it in abundance, I tell you what, it is a state of being that it's freeing. It is literally transcending. It breaks down all walls and barriers of ego. It breaks down everything. Love can transcend time, space, reality, religion, culture, skin color, socioeconomic status. Love transcends everything. There's no bias of love. It just is what it is. It's a state. And I believe at our very core, that's what we are here for. We're here to begin to be able to understand and resonate on this level of love. Like, you all feel it when you have a pet. Everybody loves their pet on a whole nother level than they love people. Be like, man, I love my pet more than I love most people. Okay, well, understand why. Why is that? Why do you have so much unconditional love for your pet, but it's hard to love thy neighbor the same? What's coming up in your brain? Is it because they're a different color? Is it because they drive a different car than you? Is it because they're not like you? What is it? And when you can begin to understand these things, you start to separate yourself from those feelings, detach yourself from those attachments, and you can begin to step in this place of acceptance. And once you step into this place of acceptance, you then can fill yourself up, and not even fill yourself up because of a void. It's more of a discovery to say, hey, man, this was inside me all along, and I'm just finding it now. This has always been there. I've always been love, and I always will be. And once you can get to that place, and it's really not a finish line. It's not this like over there type thing, or you go for a jog and you arrive. It's this it's this rooted feeling where you're at peace with yourself. And all things flow easily and effortlessly. You take things as they are. You're allowing your mind to detach. And then when judgments come and when thoughts and opinions come about things, you are just the observer. And you're allowing yourself to be the observer behind these thoughts and feelings. And you're able to step in this space of power. And once you can resonate on a space and transmutational energy level and vibration of love, you will begin to attract that into your life. At our very core, at our absolute very core, love is who we are, and love is what we desire most. That, my friends, is your Monday Morin the episode number 7 of 30 with yours truly, Josh Morin. Thank you for tuning in. It is a beautiful Monday. I'm about to crush this week, baby. Who's with me? Who woke up this morning just with the fire lit up under their ass? Because I know I did. I'm ready to go crush this workout. And then it's back to, I hate to say the grindstone because it's really not a grind, man. It's back to the pleasure land. It's land of the free, baby. Please be sure to check out morinthe.know.org for all my content as well as my success coaching packages. Find me on Instagram at Mor-In The Know. And as behind me, for the highest quality products on the market with the best raw ingredients and top of the line manufacturing procedures, check out Fueled Supplements on Instagram and head to our website at fueledsupplements.com. You guys have a blessed Monday.